Welcome to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, a.k.a. Tony, a.k.a. the CEO, a.k.a. the Dundada, a.k.a. Big Bank, Little Bank. I'm here, back. We're all back. Here with my co-host, beautiful co-host, high energetic, the Wonton Bomb. I think that's how you say it, right, though? The Swanton Bomb, I think it was. The Swanton Bomb.
Better.
I got my dog Mateo in the building.
What is Big Bank, Little Bank exactly, Tony?
Like, I'm the big bank, and y'all my little banks.
It's a T.I. song from a while back. Big Bank, take a little bank. He's trying to stun on us, basically.
Also in the building, my co-host, Doughboy's in the building.
What up? What up? That's not my name, but what up?
Doey. I'm sorry, Doey. I apologize.
DJ
Still
Fresh.
Still wrong. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Every week we do this. Every week. It's starting to be a staple. I think there's a fan out there that just subscribed, right? And they were like, yo, I love the way you ruin someone's name every week. I'm like, you know what? I gotta give them that energy. They love that energy.
I love the Tonight Show, the way that he doesn't say anyone's name correctly. Like, who says that?
I mean, we all love the Eric Andre show, and the Eric Andre show is just the most chaotic energy for interviews since celebrity guests and all that. Maybe that's what Tony's trying to capture.
Yep. Also, in the building, we got our special guest, returning guest, Cystal from the Game Junkie Show. What's going on, Cystal?
Up? Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's been a while. I miss you guys. I watch your show all the time, but I miss actually being in it with you. Like, that's really special.
That means you can yell at us. Instead of just yelling at your screen while you're watching.
I would never. But I do get to real time tease you instead of just commenting about it. So that's pretty good.
We're sorry that Buchel's not here to join us yet.
Yeah. He'll be here soon.
Give him a vacation as a CEO. You got to give the guys vacation. No, you just got to give it to them.
Yeah. Big money bags here. Had to let him have that pop leaf.
Yep. Yeah. It's unpaid, though. I'm not paying for vacations. It's unpaid.
I'm paid. Sorry.
This company sucks. They don't even do 401k matching. Yeah. Big Bank's drowning down there.
For real. By the way, I feel so fucking weird being down here at the bottom. Like, I'm so used to, like, seeing my face up here. It's just so weird to me. Throwing me off.
I feel pretty naturally being up here on the top.
Oh. Well, we can take that many ways.
It was meant to be a double entendre. We're going to start that way.
So how you been, man? What's been good with you?
With me? Oh, shit. 2022 has been a rough year with my personal life, which is why I had to kind of take a break from making, the Game Junkie Show content come out. It's been a bit chaotic and crazy, and I've suffered some mental health issues with it, but I'm putting in the work in and trying to get myself back to where I need to be so I can get back to the commitments that I want to make, if that makes sense.
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah, 2022 has been a hell of a year.
Yo, have you guys seen, I'm kind of upset, though, because I wanted to buy the game, but High on Life, have y'all seen the videos of people playing it?
Yeah, I can't wait to try it.
The game looks fucking dope. I'm mad it's just Microsoft only. I mean, I have to buy Game Pass now to play it on PC, but whatever.
I'm going to be the sourpuss. I don't find that guy's comedy or style of writing or voice entertaining at all.
I'm kind of with Doey. I think that it'll be a fun little like short burst game. If you're a pothead, you're probably gonna have a fucking blast playing that game, and this opinion is not for you. But I think that I've got maybe like 30 minutes a day that I could play that game. I'd be like, okay, that's pretty funny. But I don't know that I could do like a power session of like 8 hours and have High on Life or anything.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, it's funny. You're a bounty hunter and you just talking guns.
But I'm also not a fan of Rick and Morty. It's just not for me.
There goes my pearl necklace.
It's this guy.
Broke and went everywhere.
It's that guy. It's the show. It sucks, man, because it's like he has a shtick and it's just he runs it very dry. Like he's running this shtick into the fucking ground at this point. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I can't get over how annoying it is to listen. I was like, yo, how can people play even 5 minutes of this game? I'm like, I can't do it. I was like, yo, this shit is unbearable.
His voice is definitely interesting. He knows that his voice is interesting. I saw this thing with him where he was talking about like he's like realistically he's like I've got 2 voices that I use. He's like that's about it. He's like a lot of voice actors that make the career they have 20, 30 different voices. He's like I've got like 2. He's like I'm fine with that though. He's definitely aware of his own limitations.
The show is fucking hilarious. I mean.
So you mean is it a true statement that High on Life game does not feature either Nolan North, Troy Baker, or Ashley Birch? Is that like for real?
I believe so.
Yeah,
wow,
sure.
because they're in like every fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's just like it's the Roiland show. It's just Justin Roiland.
Did you know that Troy Baker, I always say his name wrong, Troy Baker was in God of War Ragnarok?
Really?
Really?
Yep. I'm telling you, like that motherfucker's in everything. He played one of the, this might be spoilery depending on who you are, but he plays one of the, remember the thing from the tree? When you get to Brock and Sindri's, the cute little thing from the tree that has alter egos. I'm trying not to say too much. He's one of those alter egos.
Oh.
I know.
I like when big statuses make very small parts. Like I like that.
I haven't played the game, so I don't know what tree that you're talking about.
That's why I was trying to be careful.
Oh, no, you can spoil this shit. I'm watching on YouTube. I watch people playing it on YouTube. Games I don't play, but I have interest in. I'll just watch somebody else play it.
Games.
This is Doughboy's weak ass claim to fame.
Doesn't play anything. He says the games I don't play, which is a very big list of games. I just want you to know that.
I play games that I like, and because Doughboy don't like
Fair
it,
enough.
he thinks it's I don't
Fair
play
enough.
enough games.
We are trying to make some drop into the DMZ content. So
I mean, if you think
Yeah.
about how many video games there really are out there that are made all the time, we all really play just a fraction of them. I mean, most of us, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, this is why, once again, Game Pass is the best value in gaming right now. Fucking $10 a month, and I can play whatever the fuck I want on Game Pass. They have a crazy selection.
Why are they charging me $14.99?
Oh, maybe it's, I don't know. I'm paying for the PC only one.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say that they be charging me some shit for something. No, that's what I pay on the Xbox. Totally worth it. It's all kind of obscure shit. I've seen motherfuckers play like 200-300 titles on that shit.
That's insane.
Yep. We were playing through some Grounded. Grounded's pretty good.
That game's pretty. Yeah, that game.
I was playing that game the other night with the
I don't fuck with spiders. Ain't no way in hell. Ain't gonna do it.
So they have a slider where you can turn down the spider level in the game. I think it's like the lowest level, it replaced them completely. But like as you slide it down, you just see like their little legs like vanishing.
The fuck! I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a spider slider in that game.
I still don't know how I feel about that. Spiders are fucking spiders are so fucking terrifying. And we got some big motherfucking spiders down here in Florida. Like some of these motherfuckers like you think I'm kidding, but we got motherfuckers that are like the size of your fucking hand.
Wait,
The
where?
worst
Could palm a fucking basketball. You got some LeBron James motherfuckers out here that can palm a basketball. I don't be fucking with that. No way, no how.
Y'all got casual iguanas down in Florida too, which blows my fucking mind. You just
And
see
they're-
an iguana on a goddamn tree is
But
wild to me.
they actually all fell off because of the freeze. They're not dead, but they warn you, like in the southern parts of the state, like the tip of the penis, they tell you to watch out for the iguanas because it got so cold. They fall off the trees, but they're not dead. They're just like hibernating. So like move them gently to a safe place, and then they get warm enough to. Well, don't be throwing the motherfuckers or just running them over in the road and thinking they're dead. They're alive. They're
Kick
just
that
all
shit
like
like a field goal.
frozen.
Fucking gently.
Kick the iguana.
terrible.
Those
Tony gonna
things-
come down here and fuck up all the reptiles.
PETA, come
There
get
ain't
this
no PETA.
motherfucker, PETA.
Anybody can go with a BB gun and start shooting iguanas, bro. They're
I mean,
invasive
everyone
creatures.
could. Should they
not-
though?
No, people
not-
do that. That's legit because they're trying to get rid of iguanas because it's a problem down here in Florida. It's a problem.
Florida has a lot of issues with wild life. Like a lot of animals that weren't indigenous here are now here. I mean, we have huntsman spiders. We have funky, like our waterways near where I live, there'll be like fucking big ass python snakes that shouldn't be out in the wild eating people's dogs and shit. And we're building so much, like Florida's expanding so much that the animal population is breeding very quickly, but they're being kind of funneled, and it's a big problem for the ecosystem for sure.
Yeah, then you got the snakehead fish. Those fucking things are just eating all type of fish life. And this, bro, you can kill these things and no one would bat an eye because they tell you to kill them. Like, it's a legit thing.
Wait.
Sometimes we do have hunting seasons for things that become like they'll say we're extending hunting season for boar, or they'll tell you don't need a license. Like, you can hunt gator certain times. Like, so there are times when they will say we're extending seasons because we're overpopulated, and we're always overpopulated on, like, you got meth heads out here like sniffing bath salts, acting like zombies. So you got to be careful of that shit. It's yeah. I just want to see like a Fallout game take place in Florida. I think that would be great. That's like, we're ready. Like, we are ready for that shit.
I don't want to see what the nuclear wasteland is going to do to gators down there in that Fallout game. So those things are going to be unstoppable.
It's going to be
It's
like
kinda
that.
like the Far Harbor. Do you remember the Far Harbor DLC for Fallout 4? They had those weird gator-like.
Oh.
That's what it made me think of. Is like, it was like a gator head, but like a Hulk Hogan body, like a Lou Ferrigno with a gator head. Like, that's what I feel like Florida would be. We'd have some crazy, and then like the meth raiders would obviously do very well down here. I think they should do it.
I was thinking more of that gator from Spider-Man, the villain. Forget his name. He's actually a gator guy. Forgot his
He's
name.
like, lizard guy.
Or a lizard guy. Yeah, lizard.
Lizard dude.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. For sure.
I think we should call Bethesda and we should make this happen.
Do you think
Me and Tony used to call our high school teacher Lizard Neck Mills. We used to bully.
We used to bully our teacher. Because
his neck was real red in the back. And it was like suntan to death.
This man's Adam apple stuck out like 4 inches. Shit was like, bro, we used to tell them, you look at those fucking lizards that when they peek up, their fucking neck thing starts fucking coming out. He was like, what the fuck? So he said Lizard Neck Mills. He gets so fucking mad.
Y'all are so bad.
Y'all must have spent a lot of time in detention in that class.
We were bad.
I got kicked out. He told the... He changed my class hour.
He separated us. He said, I can't have both of these people in the class because I can't teach a lesson fully with both. He says they're toxic to the environment. And then separated us.
As soon as I come to the door, what up, Lizard Neck? Like, everybody will start laughing. They were like, what
damn,
the
y'all
fuck?
just came in hot, huh?
Hot, bro. Hot.
It was... I wouldn't. He would come in hot. He loves that energy.
Oh, here we go.
I
Always the
was-
blame game over here.
I was kind of giving him the gas though, because I would laugh in the back.
Always giving the gas. Not only is he giving the gas, Doe goes hard. He'll
I'll
laugh
be like,
like,
ooh-wee.
and then he'll be like, oh, he'll laugh so hard that everybody has to laugh now. And then he gets mad at me.
It's contagious.
Shit is disgusting. He's a bully. Man's a bully, bro. For sure. 1,000%.
So, Tony, do you have just a freezer full of iguanas right now then? Since you can just go pick them off the ground and store them for later, you just pop them in the microwave when you need an iguana?
Oh, Fallout 3, iguana on a stick. There's that.
Oh, yeah.
Iguana on a stick.
Didn't you get sick when you eat it?
Radiation
rat
poisoning,
poisoning.
yeah.
Do you
Radiation
recall one of the, I believe it's the Nomad intro in Cyberpunk, you're smuggling an iguana that you had to freeze to smuggle it.
Oh, is that the Nomad one? I never did the Nomad.
No
That's
way.
the Nomad one where you're smuggling an iguana, which is a big deal because we've destroyed all the animals in that world because they can clearly predict the future over there at CDPR. But they had to freeze it so they could smuggle it in.
No, it's cool. It's cool. We're all just gonna live in the line over in Saudi Arabia, Crystal. It's gonna be a great future.
Facts.
They're building our little utopia over there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Well, Anyways, for the first topic here, is being antisocial a negative thing? Has gaming affected the youth when it comes to like metaverse, using VRs, or just strictly online gaming and not going outside? What do you think, Crystal?
If I may, I have an answer for this, but I feel like I need to add some important context so people don't misconstrue what my opinion is on it. Antisocial in itself is technically a negative term because it's a medical term and it's associated with a personality disorder. Mm-hmm. And I think, and I've done this too, because we're so used to the word antisocial, we use it kind of like it means to be introverted, but it doesn't. It's not the same thing. So we kind of use it interchangeably, and that's not really what it means. So like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy were both diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. But you see, Dahmer is a very extroverted person with high level of social skills, and Dahmer is an introverted person. So I want to make that clear so people don't think I'm saying that like they're bad if they're introverted.
For sure.
Yes, I do think antisocial behavior is negative because those people can't develop any kind of empathy, and it's harmful to other humans. And that's a really good question. I don't know that video games can do that to you. I feel like that's something that is genetically predispositioned within you. So I don't think so, but could you become, or could you be more introverted growing up playing games and like having less social interaction? I'm sure, but I don't think it's negative at all to be introverted unless it affects your ability to do what you need to do to function, like work or go to school or whatever.
The modern gaming it definitely is favoring introverts more than like extroverts, right? Like we don't have a lot of like the couch co-op kind of games. Doey's not inviting me over to play, Mario Kart 9 all night on his couch and drink, Code Red, Mountain Dew, and eat hot Cheetos or anything. So I think that like the modern gaming structure definitely does favor introverts a little bit more. I mean, especially with like Discord and voice chatting and all this shit. You can play games with your buddies and you can still be in your comfy clothes in your goblin mode, just doing whatever you want to do without having to do all the extra social shit that goes along with getting out of your house and spending time with your friends to like get that same level of gaming in that we had back in like the 90s or something.
That is true.
I do miss the LAN parties. That was always, real dope. But no, yeah, I think just someone who plays video games, right? Like as a kid growing up, you just play only video games, staying in the house. Yeah, you kind of do socialize with the people on there, but it might have an effect on you in a way that when you go out in real life, I guess, or outside and try to hang out with people, if you were a quiet person who stuck to themselves just to begin with, and then you start playing video games, and that's like loosens you up. When you go outside, you're not gonna. It's like you're not gonna want to talk to people. It's like there's a block. Like you just don't. You're too shy, or maybe you're like, I don't want to know. I don't know. I can't do this. It's too much. The anxiety is building up on me. So they just go back to the game as an outlet. So and then with the VR, the metaverse coming out, people were just like zoned in. They log in and don't come back out type shit. So I do think that gaming does have some type of effect on it as well to make you antisocial. And not in a way like of a serial killer or anything like that, but just,
Yeah, we're talking introverted, extroverted, right? Yeah. Like just to specify that there.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There could be for some people a psychological aspect that affects them in that. I mean, we don't know, right? I mean, I don't know if any of us know the science of it.
I would lean towards there probably not being anything like that, just because like all the studies that I've read about, like the old school thing was violent video games are going to make you violent. You're going to get desensitized to violence. You're going to become a murderer, blah, 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 blah. And all the studies have mostly shown that that's
bullshit.
Wrong. Like there's like maybe a temporary increase in irritability or something, but like video games are not going to turn you into like a serial killer. You're not going to become an assassin because you're playing fucking Assassin's Creed all night.
Damn, you're not.
I also think this kind of evolved from back in the day when your parents didn't want you to watch too much TV. Video games are just like TV adjacent. So they're just kind of see it as the same thing. So a lot of people will view it as something negative. Like, oh, you come home and you play 2K13 or 2K23 for the last 13 hours or the last 5 hours. So I think you also got to get your priorities right? Like, if you sitting around playing video games all day, sometimes you ain't getting things done, and you got to make sure you get those things done. I feel like that's not antisocial. That doesn't do anything. I just think going to take a shower is important. I think if you haven't done that and it's 12 and you're still playing video games, and I'm like, yeah, this shit might be holding you back in life. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe when it does come time for you to go outside, you have not taken a shower and now you're stinky and nobody wants to be around you. And you're like, yo, this is the stinky video gamer guy. He kind of sucks.
I mean, are video games really that? And I know video games are still something that's widely contested, right? Like, a lot of people who don't play them don't understand them and think that they're very juvenile and that
it's a waste of time.
They can't be intellectually stimulating things like play Elden Ring, motherfuckers. But damn it, I had a good thought process there. Oh yeah, is it any different than any other hobby? Any hobby could take away from the functional things you have to do as an adult. You could be obsessed with hunting, with fishing, with art, with regular. Do you know how many people will binge watch like they'll sit there and say, "Oh, you play that much video games, motherfucker? You binge watch 5 seasons with 16 episodes a fucking season in a week." Like,
I hear a lot about these guys that like when they watch something on TV, it's about learning about something. It's always some sort of educational step. If I'm reading a book, it's to learn a new tool or to learn a new use. It's always like some advancing forward and like learning new things.
You got to hit them with have you played fucking simulator games? I'm a pilot. I'm a construction worker.
I'm a firefighter. See, guys, come check out my content. All right?
But how cool is that? Like,
Yes.
Video games are the ultimate form of escapism, and I feel like TV shows are such a passive way to do
Yes.
that, whereas like reading books and playing video games are an active way to leverage your brain to do. Like, I'm never going to fly a plane, but I would love to play Flight Simulator. How fucking cool is that?
So just to go back, because I'm about to lose what I was going to try to go, but the difference between playing video games and like hobby-wise, Crystal, right, that I think is that, okay, you're playing video games, you're just stationary. You're in one position. You're not really physically moving your body. So health does become somewhat of an issue. But people who are hunting, playing sports, riding bikes, doing shit like that, which it takes physical work to your body, in a way, I think that's the only difference. What I would say, like, video game versus other hobbies, what's the bad or pros and cons to it? But
That's a good point.
the military, bro, they use video games or something like a video game to train some of their guys.
Simulators.
Yeah, they literally had those. I don't even know what you call them, but the things you could sit in and have a strap, and you're fucking just moving around in place. Forget what's the name of it. But
like the full VR rig, or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, a full VR rig.
It's a simulator.
They have it already. Like, there's a gaming company that bought this military fucking grade like platform that you could fucking run on full speed, and it's the whole thing. And they're making a game, and they're trying to do a whole VR game from it. So it's like the military's been on this shit. So it's like
I do have some feelings about like the military trying to like gamify things like that. I think that might be bad, but I think that's a different topic completely. I just think back to that propaganda the game they put out back in the 90s, America's Army or whatever the fuck it was. Y'all remember that one? It was a video game that the Army put out to try to like drive up recruitments.
Yes, I remember that one.
But
it was garbage.
Sounds-
But
I think it was
It was really bad.
I think they were doing it just for training, like to get your eyesight and like accuracy up or whatever. But yeah, still, I mean, people since the beginning, I think video games always was looked at like a negative thing too, though. So it's like, oh, you need to go outside or do this or do that, or you're just gonna be fat, or you this and that. That game's gonna poison your mind. My grandma used to tell me all the time to play Grand Theft Auto. That's the devil. Look, he's killing people, innocent people who are on the sidewalk. I mean, yeah, I was fucking killing them with a shotgun, sure, but I'm not gonna go outside of the street and like murk somebody, you know what I mean? It's just...
I drive Grand Theft Auto 4. I love the physics. I just drive on the sidewalk a majority of the time.
I will say about like VR, like with the Quest, there are some of those games where you can definitely get, like, I have a guided Tai Chi thing that you can do, and they have yoga things. I got this boxing game, y'all. That's when I realized I needed to get my ass back into the gym and shit, because I was like, huff, and I'm like, like I was like, it's like real, and I'm third round with this motherfucker, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm sucking air. I'm trying to get like, you get all like super sweaty. You got to buy that silicone shit because you just like it just be absorbing all up in that padding. You know what I'm talking about, the little silicone piece. I gotta every round I gotta take that motherfucker off and like wipe it, like, cause so some of these boxing games and shit, will have your ass sweating, and I just love the fails. I love people like grandma punches the shit out of a 5-year-old grandbaby accidentally. Like that's so fun. Like it's awful, but it's funny. Like how many things that's hilarious. I'm sorry.
Tony was just talking about watching children hurt themselves the other day.
It's so funny.
It's the best, bro. It's the fucking best. Subscribe to that shit. That shit is hilarious.
I mean,
we're a little Schadenfreude, I think.
I mean, Beat Saber is going to kick your ass. I had a buddy that I used to just go and we just play Beat Saber for like hours at a time.
It's
and
so
we'd be
good.
Drenched. We'd be sweating. It was like it brought me back to some old school gaming. Like I was going to like, I think my point on my stance on this might be old school gaming was definitely more social than the newer gaming.
Yeah.
Because like it brought me back to like arcade nights and going and dropping like so much money into a DDR machine just to dance in a little arcade for a couple hours or something.
Can I ask you a question? Because you just said something that made me think. So I want to ask you your thoughts on this. Mm-hmm. In that old school environment, were we all more social because we didn't have internet in our homes, we didn't have social media, we had way more brick and mortar stores, so everything we did was more social. So is it? I don't 100%. Know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely the world has changed. The entire environment has changed, right? Like back in the day, if I wanted to talk to Doey, I would have had to call him on my landline, and that would be our means. If I wanted to see him in person, I would have to get on a plane. Now we can do a fucking Discord call, and boom, there's Doey's beautiful face. Yeah. We're having audio. It's it's a different world. Maybe our definition of introverted, extroverted, things like that, maybe those need to change a little bit. If you sit at home all day and you're talking to your buddies on Discord all day, is that being social? Is that being antisocial? Where does that fall on the spectrum now? Is that still is that an introverted act or an extroverted act?
That's the gray area.
That's a good question.
That's the gray area, because it's like we're social as fuck right now. We're not outside, so are we classifying social being outside?
I do want to point out there are a lot of people that will play multiplayer games who won't speak to you. They won't actually do. So that may be more of an introverted behavioral trait, saying I'm going to play in a multiplayer environment, but I don't want to use my voice, and I don't want to. So maybe like, because technology is changing, but it doesn't necessarily mean if we're leveraging that we are introverted. These are really good questions.
That's interesting, actually, because, I play, I'll play like Overwatch 2, or I'll do some DMZ drops. But if I'm not playing with my buddies, my voice chat is probably off in a game. I don't want to talk to random fucking teenage boys on the internet. I don't want to deal with all like the online shit normally. I just want to play some shit. I'll use.
Would you consider yourself an extroverted person or an introverted person, like in general?
In actual real life, extroverted. But in gaming life, I might be a little bit more introverted. I'm just tired I've been on the internet for so long. I'm so tired at this point, Crystal, of dealing with other people on the internet.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm definitely extro for sure.
Oh,
Like,
Tony comes in hot. Like we were talking about with that teacher. Tony comes into the voice chat hot.
I love voice chat. I'm that one dude. If I'm in like the Modern Warfare lobbies, if everybody's quiet, I'd be like, "You fucking suck," and then everybody starts fucking going at it. I'm just that person. I like chaos every now and then. All right, it's just fun.
I can see that. I can see Tony dropping into a game filled with randoms and going, "Yo, this Mr. Moneybags here. I'm about to fuck you up and teabag your face, bitch." Like, I can see him being the guy that just does that.
Like, bro, this is why, because multiplayer is fun, bro. Like, to me, I like playing multiplayer games because just the trash talking or friendly competition you have with people. And this is why I like the new Modern Warfare. That proximity chat changes the game. It brings back so much memories of SOCOM when it had it. I was yelling. I tricked a 12-year-old kid. I think he was 12. He had a squeaky-ass voice, though. Just the other day, I tricked him into giving me his loot so I don't kill him. Right? He was like,
still killed him?
Yeah, I still killed him.
He definitely still killed him anyway. There's no way that story ends any other way.
So I said, hey man, my bad, I downed you. You gotta revive, but give me all your money. And if you got a kill streak, give me that shit, and I'll let you go. He said, all right, cool, man, thanks. No problem. I'm gonna go get this truck. Stay right here. I go get a truck. I put mad C4 on the truck. He doesn't see the C4. I said, yo, hop in the truck. I'll drop you off to the safe zone, and, I'll let you go. That way no one else can kill you right here. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, no problem, man. What are friends for? I drive the truck. I hop out that bitch. He's like, why'd you jump out? Bing, boom, died. Get the fuck out of my lobby. Like, that kid now knows not to trust nobody in fucking Warzone.
What a troll.
Wow. Okay, I just have to say, and I'm sure you've seen me talk about it on Twitter, First Class Trouble is absolutely the game for you, Tony.
I've got that one. I've been wanting a group to play that game with.
I will happily play with you guys. I'll like totally. Let's do it. Let's all of us play. I already know Tony's going to be the problem child, but we know this, and like we absolutely need to run it. That is so Tony's.
What's the name of this
with
game?
That shit. First Class Trouble.
It's
like Among Us, but with a lot more mechanics. So there are a lot more ways that you can be sneaky, and I just feel like that's Tony's kind of game, because you can be completely chaotic, you can lie and manipulate, you could be completely true. It's up to you, but I feel like Tony would very much enjoy that game, and he would just be a fucking menace to us. But I'm down. I'm down
for that.
Those games like that are actually the exception. Those are the games where I like the voice chat. I like
yes.
Among Us. I'll still log in and play some Among Us every now and then. I get a random itch just to go and just be a dick in a voice chat or in a text chat, basically.
I love Among Us. Among Us was so good. That little game on the app on your phone is even better. I used to make people think somebody's the fucking guy when they're not the fucking guy.
Then you would love.
It was green. I saw him. They were like, oh, vote.
You'll love.
Said, bro, it was never me to begin with. Man.
You'll love FCT. I struggle to say that because there's always two of you who are the personoids, and then there's four people, because I think you got to have six. And then there's four people trying to deduce who you are. And you have your own private chat, and there's different ways that you can off people.
That's
so like
awesome.
And then like I play a lot with I have like my British friends, like, Ross and Tom and Ziggy and Molly and James and them and Davin, all that group. But we have like house rules that we've made.
Oh, see rules. Okay.
Well, we've changed it and made house rules, so it's actually harder for everyone else to determine who the personoid is. So it adds a level of difficulty. So you can do that sort of thing, but you can. I really think we should all definitely run it. We just need 6. We should absolutely do it. Tony, that is your kind of game.
It's on PC, right? I'm assuming only PC.
It's PlayStation 5 and PC, but I don't think it's cross-platform. You have to have it on the same system. I don't know why. So we'd all have to have it on the PlayStation.
Oh, you have PlayStation 2?
Yeah, I got all. I don't have
I
a
didn't know you
PC.
had
Is the only thing I don't have. I've got
Tony,
the
there-
Xbox, the Switch, the PlayStation.
I thought she only had Microsoft Switch and PC for some
No,
reason.
there's a PS5 right behind her, dude.
Where? Oh,
Right-
she was covering
Yeah.
half the fucking thing. Oh, get the fuck out of here, my man.
I'm actually I do have a preference. I prefer
Xbox.
the DualSense. I prefer
okay.
the user interface of the PlayStation. I really like their exclusives. But I just like games, so I'm not going to miss out on games. So I play all the systems. I don't fuck with PC because I'm too stupid to fuck with settings. I'm not going to do it. I'm no hate to the PC people. I can't. I'm not fucking with that. So we should do it. We should
I'm down to
PlayStation
do
that
it.
shit up.
I have a long weekend. I'm off Monday, so I'm down if you want to
I'm down.
fucking get
we
on
can,
it.
We can run a few games so I can teach you guys the stuff, and then all of us pretty much know Tony's going to be a problem, whether he's a bad guy or not. But I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Hell yeah.
Down
I'll be
for
fire.
Sure.
Folks, for our next topic, logic versus emotions and how it affects survival or decision making. A lot of people are going to have their own like weird ways of trying to explain it, but I think it's very simple. But I'm going to let you guys go first and see what you guys think.
Well, you can't pique my interest like that and then not say it. Like I just I'm. Maybe you got to drop that shit first.
Yeah, you got to go first.
I like going last, but just for you, Crystal, I'll go first.
Thank you, baby.
People, and I'm going to give an example, right? Survival, first off. People who do not think through, like in horror films, you see it all the time. It's a movie, I get it. They're acting, it's not real. But logically, people are so they're so stressed out because they don't know what's going on. They're just not rationalizing what the fuck's going on. They just take a step back. Be like, I can get out of this. You'll survive every fucking time. Every time. You get in a car crash, your fucking car's in the water. You're so fucking nervous you can't take the seatbelt out. It's like, buddy, relax. Hit the button. Pull that shit out. People don't know these things. Doughboy earlier mentioned, people watch videos to learn and to survive and this. That shit is smart. I watch Discovery every now and then. I know how to start a fire with nothing. Legit nothing. I can get a rock and some dry herbs and I can fucking start a fire. These are the things that people need to know.
Doey, I don't know about you, but I have a great idea for a spin-off series of the One Up podcast.
The one-up survival or some shit like that. Bro, I mean, like, people really don't.
One up survival guide.
And then, like, emotional. Like, when people are so emotional, and it's just like, okay, I'm nervous. Oh, I can't do nothing. I'm going to die. Yeah, you're going to die. I don't want you around me. Decision-making. I know there's a weird joke and how people be like, you know how back in the days people were so ignorant, they'd be like, oh, a woman couldn't be a president because they're not rationalized. They don't think this, that, and the bullshit, right? I'm not saying that's true, but that's where those comments and those things come from because people, when they're too emotional, you make bad decisions. We can all agree on that, right?
For the most part, yeah, I mean, depends on the decision you're making.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know.
But
I think any decision. I don't think there's a hold to that. Whether you want to go out and drink with your friends, you shouldn't. But your emotions, you kind of want to go with your friends, and they're kind of like egging you on.
I kind of got to side with Tony here that for the most part, head over heart, right? Your logic and rational thought and thinking only with the data is generally smarter than thinking with, well, this is how I feel. Yeah. If that makes sense.
I mean, especially when it comes to like survival things, obviously, right? Like it is always beneficial to take a step back, take a breath, and then think about your next action. Like emotional decisions are not always going to be wrong, but it's nice to take that little just collect yourself a little bit, take your breather, make your decision.
There's a friend of the pod. I'm sorry.
Go
Go
it.
ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. Doe, you go first, and then I'm gonna challenge Tony when you're done.
I have a friend of the pod. We always talk about situations that happen, like zombie apocalypse, and he always says, he's like, I'd be too nervous. I'd just kill myself. And I'm like, why? I'm
Damn.
Like, he's like, I just killed myself. I can't deal with it. I'm like, you wouldn't like want to survive? I was like, zombie apocalypse. I've killed myself. I was like, if we got invaded by like Russia or China, he's like, I'd kill myself.
Jesus.
Like every situation I was putting up, he's like, I just killed myself.
Yeah, but anxiety, some people, especially if you have anxiety, they don't like, they're not, this isn't a dig at people with anxiety, but
No, for sure.
the way their body functions in those fight or flight situations is drastically different. So some people don't have we all don't have what it takes for every specific survival
No, for sure.
scenario. So
I mean,
I want to challenge Tony on something here. I got a situation.
Go ahead.
And I want Tony's honest, real response.
Honest is what I'm going to give you.
Okay, honest. You're in a zombie apocalypse. You're running, okay? You have a chance to survive. There's somebody that you don't know. You don't know this dude. He's running with you. You just met him. You're going to take him back to camp at Jackson. What the fuck ever, right? You don't know this guy. He doesn't mean anything to you. He trips and falls. If you stop to help him, you might get caught. You're not going to stop and help this guy because in the grand scheme of things, I want to survive more than I want to help this stranger because we're both going to be dead at that point, right? You would agree, Tony, that that's the thing to do for survival and probably the right decision to make, even though it's not very empathetic of the guy who's probably going to die. We want to survive, so I'm sorry that you tripped and fell, homie, but I'm living today, right?
You said might, though, right?
That's up to you. Do you think you can stop and turn around and get the guy up and running with the zombies on your heels?
I don't want to throw too many variables in there, but a lot of things come into play. I would help that guy out real quick. In the middle of helping him out, if he starts doing stumbling and shit, I'm out. I'm fucking leaving you. Like, this is a quick get up. Yo, let's go. Get the fuck up. If he hits me with the, hold on. Nah, buddy. I'm taking whatever weapons you got and I'm out because you are not going to survive. You're not taking me down with you, but I would attempt. I will definitely attempt.
So then my second question is that same exact, this is exactly where I was hoping you would take this. Let's say the guy that you helped who's stumbling, who might make it so that you don't make it, is Doey or Mateo or Pucho, somebody that you love and now emotions has entered the equation.
Me.
First off, we're going to break it down per person. All right?
I said I'm going to give you a track-by-track review.
We're doing track-by-track shit right now.
Oh, shit.
If it's Pucho, he ain't falling, first off. But if he does fall, I would pick him up. Because he's going to help me out in situations. For sure. If it's Mateo, I would pick him up as well.
He hesitated.
Only for the simple fact that Mateo can get into places I probably can't get into. So I'm going to need Mateo. And Mateo's pretty fast. He's probably faster than me, so I don't think he'll trip. But, but if I was going to survive and it was me or Mateo that had to die, I'll make sure to shoot him in the knee. To be honest.
Not in the head? You wouldn't put him out of his misery?
No, I need him to distract the zombies so I can get away. What a dead body's going to do for me? I'm sorry. I'm just being honest here. If he's faster than me.
That's the best way to survive.
If he's faster than me and I'm trying to survive, it's like a me or you thing. Yeah, Mateo.
He's looking at you run faster. He starts shooting at your feet.
He's like,
Could I kneecap me as I'm just leaving him in the dust?
Fucking run by. Sorry, Mateo. I love you. Just fucking take off.
Yeah.
Now
That
for
football
Doughboy.
experience.
This is very simple. It's probably the most simplest thing. If Doughboy trips and falls, I would gladly grab the shit off his back and take off. Cause Doughboy's
He's
good
gonna
to
go from my backpack.
Doughboy's a hoarder. All right, so he's gonna have valuable fucking items. But yeah, Doey's too clumsy. He'll just fall back again. Like, there's no way I'm gonna survive with Doey just keep falling. So yeah, and then he's big too, so it's like he's gonna slow me down even more. But that's my honest truth.
Now, what if the same people in question, right? So let's potentially change the emotional value of these people. What if it's a significant other, a parent, or God forbid, a child?
Oh, you don't want to hear my parent one.
I do.
His parents don't want to hear the parent one because they listen.
Do it for your parents, all right?
If it was me or my parents, they lived a long enough life. They're good.
We're getting some comments on this one.
Terrible.
Crystal, I will tell you, here is I actually have a similar answer for Doey, but it's because, as we've talked about on the podcast before, Doey is definitely already bit, and he's been hiding that bite for days by this point.
Facts. You can't trust Doughboy. He won't tell you that he's bit. You can't trust him.
Like, Doey, why are you so pale? Why are you sweating so much? You're so slimy. Nothing.
Doey, why do you keep air biting at Buchu every time he walks by?
Yeah, but as difficult, some people may listen to Tony's responses and go, wow, that's fucking insensitive. That world would be insensitive theoretically.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
surviving
Lawless.
when you're in a life or death situation, what you think changes. Like what you think you would decide would change. But I think emotions does play a role. I'm a very loving person. I like people. I would leave a stranger if it ensured. I'm just telling you right now. I would leave a stranger if it meant I had a better chance to survive. But if it's somebody that I cared for, I would take the risk because I know how much I love the people that I love.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave my son though. I would probably die for my son.
Nobody would.
And that's an emotional response, right? Because if, let's say, for example, my son, this is all hypothetical, but my son, if we're in a zombie apocalypse, we're trying to survive, and I had the key to save the world, but I had to lose my son, that would be the most crazy decision that I could ever make. You know what I mean? Because at that point, all my emotional values and what I hold dear to me, do I let him go to save the world? That shit right there? Fuck this world. This shit's going to hell. I'm saving my son. I don't fuck this world. I don't like that shit to begin with. I don't like this shit.
These niggas.
Fuck out of here. I don't like half these motherfuckers. Like,
I'm gonna start calling Tony Joel.
Yeah, Joel.
But if you think about it, one of the things that I love so much about the Last of Us franchise is how humanly accurate and relevant that writing is. If I'm a Firefly and I don't know Joel and I don't know Ellie, I'm like, cool, this 14-year-old has agreed to sacrifice herself for a potential cure so the rest of us cannot suffer. Cut her the fuck open. Period. I don't know her. I don't have an emotional attachment to her. Call me an asshole all you want. I want to survive. Logically, even if it doesn't work, that's one step closer to survival. But that's like my nephew, who's 14, and he tells me I'm willing to sacrifice yourself. Nah, the fuck you ain't. I don't want blood on my hands, but we slaughtering people today. You ain't dying.
So
that's the fight. That's the battle of your head and your heart. When you bring emotions into something, the equation changes.
Yes,
it does.
Absolutely.
It does.
I got a real quick one. We're all in the middle of the ocean, having a nice swim, and the biggest stingray you've ever fucking seen pops out of nowhere, and Pucho yells, "Stingray!" We all start having to swim to the beach. Well, would you go back and save Tony if he was swimming too slowly, or what would you do?
A stingray is actually not really that.
But this
dangerous.
Is the stingray.
They're
this
only
is the stingray that killed the guy in Australia,
Steve Irwin. But the only reason he killed him is because it pulled him. He pulled it out, so he couldn't stop the bleeding.
He's back for blood. He wants
stingray.
one of us.
I mean, I'm a Floridian, so I know that a stingray is not really the threat. Like the threat rate, the threat of that is not that high. I would drag one of y'all. First, my ass wouldn't be in the motherfucking ocean. First, but because I don't fuck with that shit. I was born with legs, and that's what I fuck with. But so I don't even like the water. If it was a stingray, I would go back for whatever one of y'all. Now I see some motherfucking alligator or some shark. I mean,
Something more deadly. Let's up the ante.
yeah. I mean, I know sharks don't like people meat, and they don't always want to be. But I'm just gonna say this, Doey. I love you, but if you put you on a surfboard, you might look a little bit like a seal, and they might come and try to take a bite.
That's a donut right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. What about a shipwreck? Ship's going down. What are you doing? The fucking ship is going down.
Tell me
I'm
you're
gonna
right.
try to get to I'm gonna try to grab y'all up and be like, let's like, if you're close enough to me that I scream this way to the lifeboats, you're getting off. But I'm headed to the lifeboat.
The lifeboats aren't big enough. One of us has to stay off.
Doey, I'm still on Twitter right now, so obviously I'm in that band. I'm going down with the sinking ship.
I mean, I'm on Twitter too.
Nah, if there's us four and there's only a 3-seater on that thing, I'm sorry. I'll make the fucking decision that no one wants to make, but Doughboy's gonna be left behind.
Well, hold on. Does
I'll
it,
make the
who
decision
here,
to leave
who
this.
Here, who here doesn't have children? Okay. Who here doesn't have children?
All three of y'all.
Okay. So this makes the decision harder, because if all three of you had kids but me, I would probably be willing to make the sacrifice because I wouldn't want that to happen to your kids.
No, it
He's
definitely makes it more complicated, because after all three of us overpower Tony and toss him out, which one of us is going to agree to raise Luca?
Yo, that's crazy.
I will raise him in honor.
Actually,
soon.
I have to circle back to Tony's logic is the same logic that I would have. Whether you're friends or not, whether you're family or not, whether you love someone or not, if you're genuinely in a survival situation, what benefits do other people have that can complement you and give you the best opportunity to survive is how
I'll gauge your friendship.
is I mean, it's not anything personal, but love and empathy may not be the thing that keeps, as awful as that is to hear. Like, look at how many wars have been fought. Like, one of the reasons Genghis Khan was so successful at doing what he did with the Mongol Empire is the guy was an antisocial psychopath that had no empathy whatsoever. He never loved anyone. He never had that weakness to exploit against him or slow him down. Whereas you look at how many times in battle, especially in the Japanese Empire, they've used their own children against them, and that became the weakness. So emotions absolutely play an effect, but if you really got to survive, you got to gauge things on how much do you up my chance of survival in the situation that I'm in, because that's just the way it's going to be. Like that movie Lone Survivor, that motherfucker wanted to live, period, and he did whatever it took.
I'm telling you, I tell you, these guys think I'd be joking. I would shoot 4 or 5 people to survive in a zombie apocalypse if I had to.
I think for me it all depends on, like, individual survival is always going to have you willing to do like the shittiest things ever. But
Yes.
if you take that step back and you're thinking about, like, okay, survival as a community, as a group, that's where you start letting your emotions come in a little bit more. And there's a
Yeah.
different kind of logic you can do too. Like, for example, you're running, you're with that stranger falls down. You don't know what skill set that stranger has. That dude could be a fucking doctor. He could be like an electrical engineer that's going to be able to get the power grid back up. There's a lot of extra logical factors you could go down
That's
to
true.
with that same decision.
That's
No,
true.
that's why I said
but
it.
I'm not stopping to turn around unless I do a quick calculation of, I better when your ass falls, I better clearly be able to see distance between me and them motherfuckers.
No,
I
you
got
just-
no problem. I got no problem helping you. But if I got a bunch of fucking Herschel Walkers on my ass and I'm not that far from them, and you fall and I don't know you, I'm probably gonna leave you because I don't want to die.
You just turn around, call time real quick.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, okay, dude, before I help you up, let me see your CV. Let me see your resume so I can figure out your skill set.
But honestly,
But that would be a part of it. Like, you would have to be trying to prove your skill set to people too.
Yeah, that you got to show your worth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how that shit runs. Like, I'm gonna put you in a scenario, Crystal. Us
Let's
four,
do it.
zombie apocalypse. We all got gadgets and guns. Mateo is the engineer.
Very important.
I'm the weaponless. I'm the special weapons guy. I can shoot fucking a fly from 100 yards. Like I got.
May not
accuracy.
need you since I've had tactical weapons training. So let's continue.
Right? Yep.
Okay.
Doey.
Okay.
Doey's, I guess, the medical guy, right? Doey. Let's say Doey's the doctor,
Skills I don't have. All right.
right? If you had to make two decisions to pick two people to survive with you, who are you offing? Who's the one guy you're gonna let go and die?
I would love to have 2 weapon specialists because that increases the chance. But I do not have engineering skills and I don't have medical skills. I'm going to need that. So simply based on what they offer me, or unless you want to give me something else. Do you want to assign me?
Oh no, you don't have anything.
us-
You're a plain person.
I'm just me
Yeah,
as
yeah,
whatever
you're just-
I think I'd be.
Yes, that you're not a weapon specialist. I'm the weapon specialist.
Because
Doe's
see,
the medic.
I grew up in the South. Like I grew up in the country and we hunted and we fished and like lots of military family members. I've taken like weapons training from people who have trained military people before. Like that's just normal where I come from. That's like a normal, like that's just how a lot of families are in the South.
Let's
right?
just say you don't
So
have any
it's-
abilities. You're just plain old Jane.
Okay, so I'm like, I got nothing. So everything's off the table, right? Ooh. We got to have a weapons man. You have to. So if my only skill is like cooking,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay. So in the first situation we described, I would take Doey and Mateo. In the new situation, I would have to take you, Tony, because you got to have a weapons man. As important as engineering would be, medical is essential.
Yeah.
So it would be you and Doey, which sucks because I wouldn't want to lose the
It's
engineering.
a terrible team.
It's not the best situation, but you got to have that medical. So
So then
and
now,
you got to have the.
so you pretty much select the value for your way of living. You picked.
Well, yeah, because I'm in a situation that I have to survive. So I head over heart, like my grandpa taught me. If you know, that's what he said he did in the military. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, I've lost so many guys that I loved, but it's the way that it works, and I had to keep myself alive. So in the situation that you're giving me, I have to choose selectively based on who's going to give me the best chance of the best survival rate. That's what it comes down to.
Now, your selections are medical and weapons. That's your high priority versus anything else.
That's what I would. Well, based on what you're giving me.
Yeah. Just that surviving wise. Those are the two things you want for sure. 100%.
Yes, if I don't have any skills to keep myself alive, really, I need a weapons person and I need a medical person.
Now, what if I were to tell you that Mateo is the only person on the planet that has the code to get into the vault? It's a bunker. He's the only one.
That changes things.
Can I just point out
That would change
how-
things if I knew that.
Can I just point out how big of nerds we all are that we immediately took this topic to a bunch of video game scenarios?
But it's awesome,
Are we
though.
nerds?
Like,
Are we nerds? I don't think
that's,
it's
and
it's
that's
survival, bro. Like
it's survival.
you can't. People think that we're friends. Nah, we're not friends. The whole world is changing, bro. We're not friends. We're fucking teammates at this point. If you're dragging me down, you're going to die. It's very simple. I told Doughboy, yo, if you're in a survival world and you had cat with you, you wouldn't eat the fucking cat? He said no.
I wouldn't eat my animals. I would.
Kinda
I
You
weirdo.
would
wouldn't?
no.
A weirdo eats their animals.
You
Because
gotta survive. That's
but-
emotional. That is so
It is emotional, but I
we
love my
gotta
animals.
survive.
I love my animals so much. I couldn't eat them, but I would eat someone else's animal. I would break. I would, but I'm just going to be honest with you.
That's
I
insane.
would, but But that's what it means. That's humans. That's what emotions are like. They're complex. Yeah. Emotions are not fucking rational at
They're
all.
Not, but
they defy logic.
I honestly thought you would have ate your fucking animals to survive.
I mean, I grew up, like, my grandparents were ranchers. Like, we grew a lot of the food we ate. We grew the meat. I didn't get attached to those animals and name them. That's a different story. Like, I helped take care of those animals. Those were the animals for consuming. And then we had the animals for like my animals now, they're companionship. I don't want human children, but I love my animals. And I would struggle in a survival situation to eat them, even though every one of these motherfuckers would eat me.
Look at that juicy cat. Look at that juicy cat. That's prime rib right there.
You leave that tuxedo baby alone.
But now, so you're on your Charlotte's Web bullshit.
Look,
you named the pig and you don't want to kill it.
No, I like that Doey and the cat kind of have the same, like, shape. It's really cute. Like, I think it's adorable. But yeah, that's emotions is always going to throw an extra variable in the math and completely change it. It's
yeah. And I think it should. Like, there is something to be said about, like, this is a recurring theme in a lot of these, like, post-apocalyptic things and whatnot. There is something to be said about trying to keep a little bit of your humanity, even in dark times. I think that there's something very, like, worthwhile about trying to keep a little bit of heart and a little bit of, like, emotion in your decision making, so that way you're not just being pure machines. Just, this is the most logical decision. It doesn't matter. We're killing these 40 people, but there's 50 of us, so that's a bigger number. So that means that this is this decision we should make all the time. Like, I think that there's room to be a little to keep a little bit of your humanity for sure.
Like,
you'd have to. You'd have to.
Like you said, Crystal, Genghis Khan knew what the fuck he was doing. Unfortunately, my son would be my downfall. I would shoot everybody and probably sacrifice myself to save my son. And,
of course.
And it's, even in a zombie apocalypse world, like, bro, like, I would give my parents off before I give my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how my mindset is. Like, you wouldn't eat your animals. I would knock you out, cook all your animals, and give it to you to eat, and you won't even know the difference.
I would do that to someone else, but I wouldn't do it to my own animals.
Yeah, I would. If I had a dog, see, that's hard too, because dogs can protect you in this zombie apocalypse.
We saw that one Will Smith movie. His dog helped him. He was all, like, lonely and going crazy, and that dog was...
Cats are not saving you, bro. Cats are not saving you. Like, I had cats. I had a cat. I raised a cat.
That's true.
Those cats are not fucking saving you. They're not doing shit. They're going to watch the zombie walk up on you and fucking eat you up.
What about that movie where there was a little troll that was trying to kill the little girl, and the cat was the only one that was, like, actually trying to save this one? Do you remember that movie, Doey? It's an old Stephen King film, I want to say.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that one? I don't remember the name of it. I just watched it recently, though. It's a real dumb movie.
That is true. I mean, that is true. I can't... We can say what we say now, but until we're in that situation, if I truly was going to starve to death and I had to eat one of my cats, I mean, I don't know. It's possible.
We're gonna have a fucking cat roast that same night.
I mean, anything's... you could be right, and I would pick a cat over a dog, like you said, because the dog would have more value in that world.
Yeah.
If you're trying to, dogs can help you hunt, too.
It's crazy. Like, even us right now talking jokingly in somewhat ways, you already start rationalizing things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of our train of thought now is different. Like, our value in life and whatever we have automatically changes. Like, it's like a flip of the switch. Like, okay, who can I trust? What's a value? This is not nothing to me. I ain't taking a PS5 anywhere where I go. I'm looking for guns, ammo, blades, anything that's,
But that's how survival works. Like, that's
it's a switch.
That's instinct. And instinct is something that you can't teach. Like, it's a thing to an extent. Like, when instinct takes over, you're not thinking with emotions at the time. So it's hard to say what we would do in a situation that's life or death, because your will to survive, or if you have anxiety, that might change. For some people, it might be fall and hit the floor. For other people, they might roll out the fucking window and pull some Nathan Drake shit, and then they're not even thinking about it. But that's how it works. Like, our adrenal system kicks in and shit happens, and we don't always have time to process the emotions of it.
Yeah, 100%, right on. on the money. But I don't know. I think honestly, like I said, just to sum it all up, emotions would lead to your death, 100%. Gotta take the emotions out of things. Even me, I'm contradicting myself in a way because like my son's my only, not my weakness, but in a zombie apocalypse, he will be my weakness because that's just something that's just I gotta watch, take care of. I'm gonna do more risky shit. You know what I mean? Like
okay,
I shouldn't
but
be doing.
look at Jackson, right? So if we're gonna talk about The Last of Us 2, look at the good thing they have going in Jackson, and that was emotionally driven. So while I would normally agree with you and say emotions are the things that are probably going to hold you back, that was an emotionally driven thing to do, was to create this community where for the most part, like, they're safe. They have a system in place. They're living kind of normal lives. It's in that complacency that they learned to trust people too much and slipped and said their names in front of people they shouldn't have said their names for. That's a whole different part of the story. But I mean, like, yeah, so look at that. You and your son could have that kind of life. Do you know what I mean? But if you spent the whole, I just think you can only get so far being a lone wolf in certain survival situations. And would you go crazy?
Why are zombie movies, why is zombie material so good at this, giving you scenarios for this particular question? Because I was just thinking of The Walking Dead. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I remember that there was the one guy that he just lived alone with his son, and they were just pure survival. They had traps set up. They didn't have any interest in building community. They were just pure survival. And then, the Walking Dead crew came along with Rick and all of them, and they kind of fucked up everything that they had going on because they're very emotion driven in Rick's little crew. They tend to make decisions that aren't necessarily logical, and they ended up making a better survival chance than a lot of these other groups they ran into that were just like these pure survival groups. It's interesting that there's so many scenarios though where it's just like, oh, this zombie medium did this, Walking Dead did it, Last of Us did it, I Am Legend covered part of what we were talking about. It's interesting
because it's a really good combination of real humanity and fantasy science fiction. Like it's and I like you said earlier, Mateo, you do have to keep a level of humanity. So like, even if Tony was like, nah, fuck you, my son and I are going to survive on our own, he might have a better chance of having things happen if you're the engineer and you get us into the vault and Dowie keeps us alive and I got whatever skills I got. Like, you do have to always think about those things.
Tony might have misrepresented Dewey's skill set. Dewey's skill set is that he is going to have everything. Like, he's going to have like the magical Mary Poppins bag is what's going to happen with Dewey.
Dewey's a hoarder. He's going to hoard all the good items. Dewey might be good to have. You send him out there, he'll come back with shit. I don't know if he'll share it or not, but he'll have valuable items.
I think for the most part, most people would have. Who's on mute?
Dewey's on mute.
Oh, that's me. I said I have it for a low price.
Dewey will be selling it like he did Pucho's fucking wand from that game where you sold it behind his ass.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
Name a price.
I remember that shit.
I still have it.
I think
I'm still willing to sell.
I think it really, I'm a strength in numbers person, but some people have less to offer. Like my mom is not in good health. She's going to be slow. She doesn't have, this is not me being mean or insensitive.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a particular skill. I mean, she is in the medical industry, but she's not a fucking doctor. She wouldn't have the skill set that and she's older. And my nephew's young, and it's so like, yeah, I would save a child over a parent of my own, or maybe someone else. I mean, I think if theoretically, if we're looking at the situation, older people would probably be the first to go.
Yeah.
Because there's just less likely that, and I'm sure a lot of people would try and protect their parents and grandparents at all costs, but at some point, that would probably
Meemaw and Peepaw gotta go.
And then, everybody's going to try to save their kids, obviously, but all children may not have the skill sets to offer people in a group setting. So obviously you're going to train your child to have what skills you have so that they can be viewed a valuable member of this community. So there's so much complexity that goes into this. Like, look at what Joel did for Ellie, and now she's so valuable because she got that training.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, you're like, in zombie apocalypse, it's good to start a community, a strong community that's not on some snake shit. Once you build that community, then you can start venturing out and trying to save people. Because what you really want to do is save humanity at the end of the day.
Yes.
But there's limits you got to get to. You're gonna have to kill a couple of your people to get to that thing. Like, you know, that's just how it works. It's pretty much like survival. If you can't survive, you got to go.
So I have a question that's not really directly related, but kind of directly related. The weight, like I tried to put some thought into this. How would I feel as Ellie? I would actually be really pissed that he made that decision for me. Like, her statement of my life would have mattered. I get that. Do you know what kind of burden it would be to not be able to fucking turn and watch people you love over and over and over and over fucking turn and feel like you could have done something about that? Yeah. That would be awful. I would feel awful. Tony's like, nah, fuck y'all, I'm living.
Do you think, would you do that though? You're like yourself, like, would you say, I'll die to see maybe saving the millions?
Yes. Yes, I would.
You know what this would be a good segue into, Tony? Our third topic.
Oh, here we go.
So, Crystal came up with a great question for us. And I'm going to let her take the start of it and, you know, introduce it for us.
Oh, you're talking about, sometimes I come up with these ridiculous trolley questions just because I'm obsessed with making polls on Twitter because I think they're fun, even if they're a little bit serious in a way, like kind of dark. The question that I posed was, if you have 100 people sitting in a jail, 10 of those people are deranged, very dangerous to society serial killers. 90 of those people are completely innocent people that haven't done anything. I mean, we've all done stuff wrong, but they're not a perceived threat to society. You have to let all 100 of those people stay there forever until they die, or you have to release all 100 because there's absolutely no metric in which you can determine who are the people who are dangerous to society and who are those who are not.
I'm letting them all go. It sounds like El Mariel, this Cuban thing. There was this boat that brought 66,500 Cuban refugees, something like that, 12,000. And what happened was Fidel also released a lot of people from prison and put them on those boats as well. So a lot of people got raped on those boats. All sorts of shit happened. It was a short ride, but, you know, a lot of people, you know, experienced some way or another. A lot of those people that went to prison went out and became, you know, future drug dealers. Some of them owned companies. Some of them did like, but you know what I mean? Some of the lot that came over were from prisons and they were like criminals. So
but how
that's
much
what it sounds like to me.
How much pain had to occur and how many other people were affected in order for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think for the greater good, yeah, like you should.
I always like...
You should what? Is Doey saying let them go for the greater good?
Yes, I believe that was...
He's going to release all of them.
Crystal, I always like that you come on our show and you're like, I don't even know what I would talk about. I don't even have any topics ready. And then you spitball us like 20 topics and we're like, oh shit, every single one of those is a good topic.
I just make everything up as I go.
Yeah, I'm with Doey. There's that old saying that I've seen it attributed to like Ben Franklin or something, but like it's that old saying. It's like I would rather see 10 guilty men go free than see one innocent man suffer. And I'm kind of the same way. Like I think that rather than 90 people suffering unjustly in prison, you accept the risk. You let everyone go. This is you know, like from a pure philosophy standpoint, that's the answer. If we want to get deeper into it and go like, okay, let's say this is actually happening in the real world. What would you do? I mean, that shit is simple, right? You get released from prison, you're on parole, you're put on probation or something. You're put on some kind of like, supervisory thing.
Yeah, but those don't exist only to make this that much more challenging. Obviously, this could never be realistic, but it's, I worded it that way and took away so many options because it's supposed to be that hard.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, like from like the pure philosophy standpoint, though, I'm with Doey. Like, I think that it's better to have a little bit of pain from guilty people going free than the pain that you would have from innocent people staying in prison for crimes they didn't commit.
So then let me ask each of you and Doey a question. What if those guilty people you let out killed your family members? What if it affected you?
That's what I was gonna say. We got to up the ante in order for me my feelings to change, and that's a good one because personally, I don't want to lose anybody in my family. So those 100 people are just gonna have to stay locked up. Sorry, I'm not losing my mom. Like, fuck out of here.
First off, I didn't even answer before she threw the variable, so I'm gonna go with the first question first. They're all staying in prison. I don't give a fuck.
I agree.
Them 10 motherfuckers ain't getting out. I don't give a fuck. Second, they're all still staying in prison. I don't give a fuck. Like, ain't nobody coming out. You're in there. I apologize. Hopefully, your time is swift, but I am not releasing.
It's for eternal.
It's forever.
What do you mean it's swift? I hope your eternity is swift.
Like, whatever. I'm not letting nobody out. No one's getting out. I don't give a fuck. Like, those 10 criminals, them serial killers are not getting out because those 10 can kill hundreds. If those 10 kill 10 people each, what's the point of that?
I'm with Tony on this one. The greater good, which are very hard fucking decisions to make. People in power that have to make these decisions, my God, because that's blood on your hands. I agree with Tony that the greater good is not, that's a calculated risk I'd be willing to take. But, Tony, I want to know what you think about this. My decision might change if people that I loved were innocent and locked up and I had to let them sit there forever.
Bye.
That would, really? It wouldn't change it? What if it was your son? That would change things.
I am Genghis Khan.
No. See, that's my point is there's always at least one person we love so much, it defies all of the logic that we can produce.
If it's my son, those 10
You're
people
gonna let him out.
They will have to come out. They'll have to come out.
See?
I mean, so here's the other like side of the trolley problem
that's
that I always like.
That's so selfish of me, though. So
like,
selfish.
let's say
but
that
love is selfish.
Here, the other side of the trolley problem I always like is let's say that you are actually the person making this decision, right? You're making this decision of whether to let these people go or not. Does that make you culpable that these 90 people are just going to suffer and die in prison? Are you a bad person for making that decision?
No.
I mean,
It's
that's
like-
up to us to decide. I would feel bad either way. Neither decision is going to. I'm not gonna take either one of those decisions and be like, oh, I can sleep fine at night. No matter what decision I make, I'm either gonna have to live with. There are 90 people who are going to be there unfairly, and their family is never going to get to see them outside of that situation, and I caused that. That's on me. I have to live with that. But to me, that would feel less worse than the guilt of what have I done? What threat is going to happen? How do you know? It's what can I live with more than the other? Unfortunately, and that would fucking suck.
Yeah, I think I would have to make that decision too. And if it was like a serious, like a life and death situation like that, the one for the many, I might have to let you stay locked up. Even it's such a hard decision though. You know what I mean? Because like I have to see my son in prison rotting for the rest of his life to save the millions or whatever. Damn, I love you, my boy, but fuck. I can't be that selfish. Like, I can't.
Damn, these 10 people are gonna kill millions between the 10 of them.
Well,
These
no,
are the
I'm
worst
just-
serial killers
no.
known to man.
I mean, you think like let's say you got 10 serial killers, right? Like she said. How about each one of those kill 10 people? What the fuck's the point of like letting those people out? You just sacrifice those 100 that's already in there, right? That's it.
But
Let
I think
them
it's
out.
okay to be selfish with love because that's what love can be. Because nobody wants, I mean, loss is the price we pay, right? To have loved wholly is to have loved fully, or whatever Kratos said. But like everything we love, we may have to lose. That's the reality of it. And yeah, we're all going to be selfish about that. Like a lot of us would be willing to do a lot of things to keep the people that with, especially a child. I feel like it's okay to, what Joel did was super selfish, but like, I get it. Like you can't, no human being is designed to deal with the pain of losing a child. Now I don't have children. I can just tell you as somebody who's watched people lose children, to hear a mother's scream because she just lost her child is the worst fucking thing in the whole wide world. Like it's so like the variables of that love, Tony, it's not selfish for you to be like, you know what? I love my son that much. This calculated risk has changed. That's the dynamics of like logic and emotion always fighting each other.
That's why I think the best leader is the one that has nothing to lose. They'll make the most calculated decisions.
Genghis Khan. He literally had there's nothing scarier than somebody who has nothing to lose because they don't have that emotional thing to hold over their head and they don't have that emotional thing that's holding them back. That guy was fucking awful, but he did what so few people building a dynasty in a god-awful, destructive, violent, murderous way could do.
Yeah.
And like the real fucked up thing about that situation is how many people in Asia have his genetics because he raped that many people. And he was just so awful. But I remember looking it up and I couldn't believe what percentage of like specific geographical areas had his DNA.
Yeah,
To this day.
there are less zeros in that number than you'd think there would be. Like, there's so many less zeros in that like percentage than you think that there should be in that percentage of people that have his blood.
Whoa.
Do we know what it is? Is there a way we can somebody can really quick Google it? Like, because I'm just curious.
I am curious. I may look that up here real quick.
And I mean, I don't know if it dilutes over time, but like the guy just, I mean, he was
Nah, he was
awful.
Pretty nuts.
Yeah, he was.
But he
doing-
didn't give a fuck because, like you said, Tony, he didn't have anything
Nothing to live
that he
for.
needed to give a fuck for. So if you talk about raw, calculated, tactical abilities, I'm not agreeing with what the guy did. It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
But he was such a brilliant tactician and was so successful because he never had to think about the emotional side of what he was doing.
Holy shit! In the region where he was, where the Mongol Empire was active, it's like 8%.
Oh shit!
That's a lot.
What?
Worldwide, it's 0.5% of the current male population.
Worldwide, 0.5. So in the so like Mongolia, and I'm guessing surrounding areas of Asia, is 8%.
That's what this article that I just read claims.
That's massive.
Yeah, that's nutty.
I knew it was high. I mean, and I believe that's the biggest empire anybody's ever created before.
So when he wasn't fucking, he was killing.
Yes.
And when he wasn't killing, he was fucking.
Fucking. And he would like kill with, I think I remember reading that they came across Black Plague and he realized these rats have the plague. So he like stored those rats and carried them up to like European territories and used those rats, like chuck them over this fortress, and he was giving people the Black Plague. And that's how, in some cases, he took, I believe I'm remembering this correctly, that's how he took some of these entire territories over.
That man's smart as fuck.
But the thing that made him such a good tactician is that he never had any emotional, there were no he never accounted for anything emotional in any of the decisions he made. He was never, ever, ever concerned about any of that, ever.
So in
That's the difference.
So in the next presidential election, if the candidates are Biden and Trump, and then the Decision Bot 2000 or whatever, the first artificial intelligence decides to run for office, y'all are voting the AI. Is that where y'all are going?
Nah, I ain't voting that AI. I can't.
The
I can't control
the
it.
AI's going pure just logic though. It's looking at the decisions and it's just weighing the option. It's like, this is the best option. This is the one to go with.
I think we'd get some options we wouldn't like.
Terminator, bitch.
We'd get calculated options. We'd get pure, logical, calculated options that wouldn't take into account any kind of human emotion or empathy.
Skynet. There's too many ways that this could go wrong.
No, that's a fact. Like, what if that computer said we have to eliminate human beings because the population is too high?
You are the problem.
This man starts saying.
I mean, is it wrong?
No, I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong, right? Do you want the world to survive? Yeah, you're gonna have to eliminate a couple 100 million. Okay, but I mean, are we gonna let a computer decide that? Like, do you really want a computer to decide that, not a human?
But I think we know what a computer would decide. I mean, we have about 8 billion or close to it. Obviously, there's resource issues. Animals are suffering. The oceans the world's in chaos. There's a lot of people. I would assume a calculated decision by a machine would probably remove, I'm guessing, a couple billion, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not saying this is what I would do. Nobody, Crystal's gonna fucking genocide the world, Thanos snap. No. I would guess the machine would calculate quality of life. There are certain people who live in certain places where the conditions are just poor. They don't have access to clean water. They have probably high rates for sickness and things like that. I would guess that would go into part of the decision.
Someone said that they're doing that now. That's some real fucking going down the rabbit hole shit.
You put it on your tinfoil hat over there, Tony.
Bro, that's a whole nother topic. But I'm just saying, like, if a computer wants to decide that, fuck it, right? If it's going to save people, I might be down with it, as long as my son's with me.
That's
my only thing. If my son's not with me, I'm fucking killing all type of AIs out here. Fuck. I'll drag this whole world down for my son.
Who wouldn't? I mean, I do know that there are some parents out there that don't have that connection with their child that is typically normal, so to speak. But I would think any parent that does have that connection with their child would 100% do the same thing. Like, there's no, I don't think anybody's just going to lose their child and roll over and go, oh, okay, yeah, you can just have my child. Here you go. It's not a, I don't think that would be true for most parents.
If you all had a kid, right, and you saw the future, you knew that your kid was going to be the reason why the whole world goes to hell, blows up, dies, would you off your child?
Heihachi style.
Oh shit!
This is the Tekken question,
Tony,
right
this
here.
this is a wonderful question, Tony. I think most parents would. Ted Bundy's mom doesn't think he did these things. Like, most parents aren't going to turn their kids in. They're not going to lose their child. I think most parents would still allow their child to live. Because it's that painful to imagine your life without.
It's 100% guarantee that your child's gonna be the one who fucks this shit up.
But here's the trick, though. But we talked about logic and emotion, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, let's say your future self came to you and said, "Look, that little shit right there, he's gonna destroy the entire world," and then he's like, "You better kill him before his next birthday," and then they vanish. In your mind, you're still like, he doesn't know. There's no way it's 100% chance that he's going to.
Exactly. Every parent is going to do well, I can talk him out of it. Now that I know, I can change it. I can change it, right? Like, when I would talk to different parents about how to talk to their kids about depression and suicide and things like that, because after losing the kid that was like, the little brother to me to it, I can't tell you how many parents came back and was like, well, my kid would never do that. Or, well, we don't, my kid doesn't do drugs. The fuck are you talking about? He wasn't under, so it's a natural parent response, I think, to think, I can keep that from happening to them. I can change them. I can protect them. Mine would never do that. I feel like that's probably what a child would normally, like, the parent-child relationship. I ain't having kids because the world is the way it is. Like, I'm not doing it.
Genghis Kong over here.
Imagine that after that conversation, you find out that your kid's going to be like the future Hitler. You take him into the police officer. You're like, yo, we got to kill him. And they're like, what are you talking about? We got to kill him. Like, he's got it. How are we going to do it, guys?
That was bugged
And
out.
here's something that we didn't, like, Tony touched on it a little bit, right? Like, earlier, I didn't pick Mateo on my team, but I didn't know the hidden variables. He's the only guy that could let us into the vault, which would ideally be best for the future. So if we're looking at a situation where, the 100 people in prison, one of the things I'd be thinking about is, if there's obviously a loss on both sides, what can those other 90 people do? But if those dangerous people come out, who are they hurting? What are those? What could those people potentially be, or what skills would they have? I mean, same with the zombie thing, right? Like you said, when I was like, I don't know this guy, fuck him. And you're like, wait a minute, you don't know what skills that person had. I'm like, God damn, he's right. Yeah, I probably screwed myself by just hauling ass and not thinking about it.
Yeah, I think as far as like your prison trolley question with the way that it's set, and because we all know that like these are the variables. We're not bringing in all these other potential factors.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that the right decision is to probably let the people stay in jail, right? Like I think that is like the most, if you're going pure logic, that's the logical decision.
I agree.
You're taking the risk and you're just bringing it down to zero. But this is where maybe emotion can give you an edge, though, because you can think of like, okay, here's all these other factors that I could think of to try to like be humane, to think of these people that I'm now like, you 90, we know that some like 90% of you are innocent. Doesn't matter. 10% of you are guilty. That's bad enough. One rotten apple spoils the entire barrel, blah, 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 whatever, right?
100%.
But with emotion, you can start bringing in those other factors. Where it's like, what if one of these people cures cancer? What if one of these people is, you could rabbit hole from there.
I think it's human to be human. Well, for most people, right? There are people out there that are just psychopaths. To be human is to have emotions. We can't fight that.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly though, to sum that whole shit up, emotions are weakness in all humans. That's the strongest weakness. That's how crazy this sounds right now, right? That's the strongest weakness that every human has.
No, I actually think that makes sense, because having something to live for gives us strength and might make us want to persevere, right? But having that to be able to be used against us or to slow us down, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, it is absolutely like a catch-22. I completely agree with you.
Well, I mean, it's like Doey's buddy that he was talking about, that he was giving all these scenarios, and the dude's like, nope, death. Nope, death. I'd unalive myself immediately. Yeah. Maybe he was just looking at it the most logical way, though. He's like, you have a 1% survival chance, and here's all this bad shit that can happen, or you just opt out right at the start. Maybe he's just going pure logic, and that was the way that he was processing it.
I've had these kinds of conversations with friends and family before, and I've absolutely heard that statement as well. There are people, it seems to be, some people are clearly divided between the nope, fuck that, I'm not willing to do it, I'm off in it, and the people that are like, nah, I'm surviving, here's what I'm gonna do. Right? And that's why that movie, have you ever seen Lone Survivor?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. Okay. Watch this film. People laugh at me when I say one of the only times I've cried in a film was Lone Survivor. And I remember the moment that I cried is when I recognized this would be my breaking point. This would be where I would give up. Like, I recognized that in myself. At this point is when I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. That guy obviously went further than me, but like, Tony will know what I'm talking about when he has that last bullet. That was so fucking powerful. Like, that's a great film. It's hard. It's a true story. it's gonna fuck you up, but it's a real testament to like that was very much a battle for him between logic and survival and emotion and like
Yeah, he was battling it hard.
incredible. Like
Y'all need to go watch it further. It is a good movie. And that bullet had
Where is
everybody's.
it? Where is this on?
Should be on Netflix, I think. Still, right?
I don't know. Isn't that Wahlberg?
Yeah, Mark
Tony?
Wahlberg. Yeah.
It looks like
Wahlberg.
it looks like it's Wahlberg.
It should still be on
It's-
Netflix.
It's
It says that it's
100%.
It says it's on HBO Max right now, which is
come-
actually funny because we're actually sponsored. No, we're not.
How come he gets to be redeemable? He beat up a bunch of Asian people. He did a bunch of racist stuff.
In real
And
life,
now
he did?
everybody's cool with him, right? But Chris
Wahlberg
Brown,
did that in real life?
Chris Brown, yeah.
I asked
I
that
didn't
same
know anything
question
about
actually.
that.
I am very curious about the same thing. Matthew Broderick killed a person way back when in a car accident. Like there's a lot of celebrities that it's their redemption is questionable.
Yeah.
If you have money and power, you have a special privilege to get away with fucking shit. 100%.
Not Tory Lanez.
100%.
Oh yeah, not Tory Lanez.
No.
22 years potentially in jail. Good shit,
Who?
man.
I don't even know who that is.
He shot
as a-
Megan Thee Stallion in the foot.
The
Told her,
artist,
"Dance,
the music
bitch."
artist.
In both feet, apparently.
He shot her in the feet?
In the
Told
foot.
her, dance, bitch. And he shot at the ground.
She's
Yeah,
so
It's a
don't-
whole thing. We did a review of one of his albums earlier this year, and it came up.
It was in the court cases. That's what was said.
I don't understand. It's the justice system definitely isn't fair, but that's a whole nother
Oh yeah, that's a whole podcast.
a whole nother rabbit hole. I mean, and I do think that money and influence is a privilege, but there are other privileges that one could have. Just saying, there are privileges. Like it's just
No, yeah. I
truth
mean,
of the
somebody
matter.
told me the other day, like, "Oh, your son's lucky." I'm like, "What the fuck? What do you mean he's lucky?" Oh, because he's not dark like the rest of us. Like, bro, you're so fucking dumb. I was like, I get it what you're saying, but you're dumb, bro. Like, don't like the way you thinking is that's why this shit's still how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get out of that mindset. Yeah, because my son is white. He doesn't look Spanish, but it's just like, bro.
that's
Like-
not what makes your kid lucky. What makes your kid lucky
'Cause
is
he
he's got a
thinks 'cause
dad
it-
that fucking loves
Yeah,
him, that
exactly.
provides for him.
That's the ignorance that some people say. And I just look at them like, bro, you're the type of person that is reason why people are still like this, bro. Like, it's just, you raise your kid right. Yeah, I mean, shit happens, right? People give you differently. It's a real thing. But it's like, bro, don't. My son's going to be raised right. I'm going to raise him right. And shit happens. But don't be bringing that shit over here and saying about, oh, he's
Now
lucky
this
'cause he's white.
segues into what we were just talking about. Hate is an emotional reaction.
That is, yeah.
So like racism or homophobia or prejudices that are harmful, those are emotional reactions.
For sure.
To me, there's nothing logical about hating people based on like broad brushstrokes.
Yeah.
I just, and unless I'm clearly missing something, that's not a logical thing. That's very much an emotional thing.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the racist for years and years and years tried to bring science into it. You remember phrenology? That was a whole thing. They would study the bumps on your head. They'd study your head shape. And it was a whole racist thing where they're like, oh, well, these facial types, these measurements make you more inclined to be a criminal. Surprise, surprise, it was mostly black and brown people that they were saying had these facial types that were leading. The racists have been trying to like logic their way into racism forever, and it's wrong. It's a pure emotional thing. It's fear is what it comes down to.
I think a lot of people are afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah.
And that is a whole nother rabbit hole. But I mean, I believe that racial profiling does exist in our criminal system, at least in certain places, and people may make the argument of why they think that statistically occurs, but I I still feel like a lot of these things are very much an emotionally based thing. So like there's a difference between exercising judgment and being judgmental. If it's late at night and I see somebody that I don't know walking around in a hoodie in my yard, I don't give a fuck what color your skin is. Like, you look suspicious because you're in my fucking yard, and like, why is you like, I don't, it's 11:30 at night. Don't be in my yard. Like, that's exercising judgment that this person might be a threat. What are they here for? Why are they hanging around? I mean, I saw a guy who looked cracked out in the middle of the day, just walking around people's yards, like getting down and looking in the dirt. I'm like, what is this guy doing? So I confronted him. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I accidentally threw a debit card out the window. I said, then you need to drive your ass up to the fucking bank and cancel it and get a new one. Why are you in people's yards? Like, what do you, like, don't, you're in my yard. Get the fuck up out of my yard. I don't know, your debit card ain't in my yard.
These are the times when you should go up to the door and knock on the door and be like, hey, here's the situation. Do you mind if I look around in your yard or something? There's smarter ways for people to go about things like this.
And I won't trust you if you're a stranger, so I'll be like, I'll fucking help you. How about that?
And exactly. And that's a perfectly reasonable response too. Like,
he was a white dude, but I don't care what skin color he was. He looked fucking like, that's suspicious. And you're in all these other people's yards? Like, what the fuck are you looking? It's like, go to the bank, bro. Cancel your card, get a new one. Like, what the fuck are you really doing? He could have been legit. I don't know, but it was weird. Don't be coming up in my yard with it. That's all I know.
Well, Crystal, I do want to say thank you for stopping by here at the 1L podcast.
Thanks
Love
for
having you here.
me.
It's always a pleasure having you here. Great
Crystal,
conversations.
if we have any viewers that don't know who you are, they should figure their lives out. But where can people find you? What are you working on currently? You got some time to speak here about anything you got going on, anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, what am I working on? Like not being a hot fucking mess. I do spend.
It's cool. 2023 is all of our years. This is finally the year. We've been saying this since 2020, but 2023 is going to stick.
2023. I'm really hopeful that I can bring the Game Junkie show back in 2023 for sure. I think it's probably would be good for me to have some more positive commitments I'm committed to instead of some of these hot mess commitments. But that's life. It fucking happens. It's not all unicorns and rainbows, even for us very gay people. Contrary to popular belief, I don't ride around on a unicorn and shit sprinkles, although I wish I did. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at just C, like for Crystal, C Smith Shine. That's probably the best place. And you can find where I'm at on YouTube and other places through, it's listed somewhere. I don't fucking know. I actually don't even know. Mateo is like my historian. I've told him like, I'm not even sure where I'm at. And 3 seconds later, he's like, I built you a profile of every place that people can find you where you've been since 1972. I'm like, cool. Thanks for that, Mateo.
Fucking weirdo.
I'll drop the same thing here below.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you stuck with us this long, please share, like, subscribe to our YouTube page. We're everywhere and everywhere. Audio only, Spotify, all that shit, we're there. Share us, like us with your family and friends. And for all the new subscribers out there, thanks for tuning in. Please leave a comment. We love to read them. We'll even laugh at it if you think I'm crazy for dropping Doughboy and taking his backpack. Let me know. I'm here for that. But as always, go one up yourself.
Happy 2023, people.
Peace.
Bye.